Welcome to Mondays with Maxy after yesterday's fantastic come-from-behind win, which was the third greatest comeback from a half-time deficit in the club's history. Nick Maxwell, what a fantastic win.
It was, mate. I certainly didn't see that coming in. For me, it was the kicking efficiency. The first half, we kicked at just 54%, which is really not good enough. Have a look at this. This is the third quarter, so it wasn't just the kicking efficiency around the ground, but also at goal. Kicked at 75% in that third quarter, 9 goals too. Remarkable comeback, but as I said, it was just that ball use. So you can see here Blair's spotting up Jared Whitson. Tell you what, for Jack Crispin, people said there was a question on his kicking. My goodness, he's been unbelievable, and great goal there by Jack.
What a great year he's had.
He has. He's doing a job defensively, but also winning his own football, and he's starting to hit the scoreboard the last few weeks, which is great to see.
And I'm sure all Collingwood fans who are watching on television, that Dane Swan kick were left or right of the goalpost. That was perfect. And what about that from Alex Fasolo?
I want to talk about Faz. Obviously, Steele finished with the goal, but Alex Fasolo, at times I've been a bit critical of him, and it's only because I know how good he could be. He could be absolutely anything, this kid. Wins his one-on-ones, great contested ball player, unbelievable skills like we just saw there, in that 60-metre kick flat to Steele side bottom running onto it. But what Faz did yesterday, he didn't just kick his goals, he won the ball cleanly in the wet, but then he had 6 tackles. He had high pressure, and that's what we need. When you've got Jamie Elliott and Jared Blair doing it, if Faz can keep doing that every single week, he's going to be an absolute weapon going forward.
And speaking of defensive acts, when the big guys are doing it as well, it's even better.
Absolutely, and in the third quarter, we want to have a look at this bit of play here. So it wasn't just kicking goals. This is a time when, as you can see, it was down to 23 points. So Kangaroos had a few opportunities, and they're just desperate. Witsy's here. Well, probably the smallest man on the ground, maybe with Jared Blair and Brent Harvey, which he does the job, keeps him away. But all the boys just fighting. You see all the numbers down there, and they're all desperate to put it on. Smother from Swanee, just great pressure from the boys, causing a stoppage at half-back rather than allowing them to have a shot at goal. So it wasn't just all the free-flowing shots on goal, it was also the tough defensive stuff as well.
Now, speaking of the ruckman, can we continue to play Grundy and Witts in the same team?
I think we can. It's going to be a tough one because when you look at it, both of them are too good to play VFL. They're both basically #1 ruckman. So if you don't play them, you probably end up going to lose one of them to another team. So I think that if they can keep in there, keep developing their role as a forward when they're in that forward line, and then they can complement each other well.
All right, mate, now what about your best? I don't know that we're going to get too many arguments, are we?
No, it was the man who kicked 5 goals for us, Jamie Elliott. He was absolutely sensational, particularly in that second half. He was pretty quiet in the first half, but great kick by Scotty Pendlebury there, just hitting him up. But I mean, Jamie, he was just unbelievable in that second half, wasn't he?
He is so hard to match up on. I think that's the difficulty from a defensive standpoint with clubs. He's so agile there at ground level, which we saw, but his marking ability for a small forward is just phenomenal.
Yeah, correct. And he also got up the ground a little bit, still high pressure, and he had his 18 disposals, still had his 4 tackles, but just becoming a real quality player for us.
And I wonder whether you think he'll play permanently as a forward, or do you think they'll try and work him into the midfield at some stage? I'm not necessarily talking about now, but into the future.
I think he'll pinch hit in the midfield this year, but beyond this year, I think it's going to, he's obviously going to have to go into the midfield once he gets his engine up. And I mean, look at that, great finish to the day by him finishing with another goal.
Absolutely it was. Collingwood media caught up with Jamie Elliott after the match.
First half, they had it on their terms. They outnumbered us, they got to the ball, used it really well. It was just hard to defend. But in the second half, when we got to the ball, we outnumbered the contest, brought the pressure, got it forward out. I mean, when we had delivery like Swanee and Pendles and Crispy banging it into us, it's hard for the defenders to defend us, so it's probably that as well out of it. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned this year is, and I've worked really well with Gracie, Stephen Grace, forward coach, and it's just staying in the moment, relaxing. I mean, the first half I was frustrated, but coming in at half time, I've just got to really focus on what's going to happen instead of what has happened. And for me, it's being proactive, not reactive. So instead of just sitting back, waiting for it to happen, I've got to get in there, get to more contests, and do something. The excitement that the boys were showing after each goal we kicked in that last quarter especially, and the third quarter as well, but more the last quarter, I mean, we're all getting around each other, and we knew that we were a chance the whole time. So I think, it's just so good that we can get that win, but the boys are overwhelmed, so excited.
Yeah, what a great victory. Is he the best small forward in the competition?
Not yet.
Oh,
he's just off. Eddie Betts has still got him covered at the moment. Eddie's kicked, I think, 10 more goals so far this year, and their tackles are about the same, possessions are about the same. So he's very, very close though, and building nicely.
Now, we're allowing you watching to have your say with our tweet of the night, Mondays with Maxy, that's the hashtag. And our winner of our first week is Matt with the question, how can Collingwood close the gap between its best, second half today, and worst, first half today, Maxy? Good question.
It is a good question. I think in the end it comes down to having a young team. You've got to know that when you come up against a team, particularly like the Kangaroos, they're fighting for a spot in the finals. They're obviously a quality side, so they really needed to win yesterday. You've got to understand as a young team that you've got to look after the contest first, so get your contested possessions right. Number two, your defensive work. Work hard defensively because your offense will always look after itself and rebound off that. So just with a young team, just narrowing the focus, making sure it's contest and defence first.
Now, for Matt's efforts, he has won a $50 Collingwood shop voucher.
Yep.
It's a beauty.
Absolutely.
So we'll make sure you join in and have your say with Tweet of the Week. Maxy, that's the end of our show for today. Now, very special edition next week. We play on Monday. It's Tuesdays with Maxy.
Correct. It's going to be good, mate. Hopefully after another win with the D's.
Thanks for watching. I hope you can join us next Tuesday after the big game against Melbourne. Have a great week.